believe that it is more important to be with TMC than to be with the left.
Okay. Sanju Verma now joins us. Sanju, it's been a good showing in the north, not so good showing in the south, strong showing in the west, and in West Bengal, which we're talking about right now, it seems that the BJP is roughly where it was. My understanding on the basis of multiple conversations are the BJP's own polls are showing them 25 plus. This poll seems to suggest that they're not quite there. Our data seems to suggest that the BJP could end up at 19, which is just one more than what they had last time.
You know, Rahul and Rajdeep, first and foremost, I just have this to say. I think survey after survey, and especially Mood of the Nation, which is so hugely watched, thanks to Rajdeep, who's trending every second day, and Rahul Kanwal, who never misses an opportunity to show Rajdeep the mirror. Be that as it may, I just have this to say.
We are not the India Alliance where you are going to create divisions.
On a lighter note,
Sanju ji, no divisions.
On a lighter note,
ये बीजेपी की अच्छी strategy है, divide and rule.
You are trending every day. थोड़ा शांत हो जाओ. Learn to be gracious when I'm giving you a compliment, albeit a left-handed one. Anyway, now coming to the more serious point. You know, I remember I've been on a zillion debates on these surveys that have been carried out in the last 12 or 24 odd months. And everybody after the West Bengal Assembly elections of 2021, don't forget in Lok Sabha 2019, from West Bengal we got 18 seats, 1-8 with a 41% vote share. But come West Bengal Assembly elections 2021, while we improved our tally from 3 seats to 77, which was a 2400% plus jump, our vote share fell from 41% in Lok Sabha 2019 from West Bengal to 38%. And what did political pundits say? अरे भाई 3% का vote share की गिरावट हो गई है बंगाल में. The magic that happened in Lok Sabha 2019 of getting 18 seats, that is not going to happen in Lok Sabha 2024 if Assembly elections 2021 are an indication to go by.
Okay.
My limited point is, if we are actually improving on our last tally of 18 seats and increasing that to 19 seats, I think the actual result may surprise you on the positive. I won't be surprised if we are able to
mentioned
even
trends.
25.
I actually just went to social media to check the trends, and the first trend, the top trend nationally at this moment is Mood of the Nation. So Mood of the Nation is the top trend. So well done, everyone. You guys are clearly doing a good job, and at least the audiences are plugged in and watching, which is fantastic. So thank you. That means a lot.
Okay, let's run through all the other states of the East, starting with Jharkhand, where much has been happening. Chief Minister Hemant Soren arrested a few days ago. How is it playing out in the polls as per Yashwant's Mood of the Nation? 2024 projection, NDA 56% up 1, India Alliance 30% down 5, others 14. In terms of seats, NDA 12, India 2, same as 2019. Rahul, next is Chhattisgarh.
Let's come now to Chhattisgarh. In Chhattisgarh, India Today C-Voter are projecting that the BJP's vote share will go up from 51 to 54. They won the recent assembly elections, and on the back of that, their vote share is actually going up. The Congress's vote share was at 41 in the last elections. That could now come down 3% to 38. When converted into seats, the Congress had 2 seats last time round. That could come down to 1. The BJP had 9 seats last time round. That could go to 10. So Chhattisgarh, the BJP doing well and holding on to its gains from the last election.
That's right. The honeymoon effect clearly there in Chhattisgarh. Let's turn to a state which is again fascinating because there will be Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha in the state of Odisha. 2024 projection, NDA 40% vote share, that's +2. India 12%. Naveen Patnaik's BJD at 41%, down 2%. How is this all translating into seats? Virtually again a repeat of what we are seeing in 2019. In fact, a slight jump for the BJP. 10 seats up 2. The India Alliance, mainly the Congress there, is getting 0, down 1. And the Biju Janata Dal 11, down 1. So clearly again all these states are almost repeating 2019. In fact, state after state, Rahul, if you look at the map of India, in many of the states, it's a repeat of 2019.
Is there a way of looking at these numbers, Yashwant, and giving our viewers some insights into what may happen in an assembly context in Orissa? Because like Andhra, Orissa too polls at the same time.
Orissa, there is a very clear split vote. There is an upswing for the BJP as far as the Lok Sabha voting is concerned. But as far as the assembly voting is concerned, it is clearly the Naveen Patnaik BJD way.
Assam. Assam, let's look at the seat shares for Assam. Last time the BJP had 9 seats, that could go up to 12. Remember, Assam has 14 seats. The Congress and the AIUDF was at 3. That could now come down to 2. That's down 1. So Assam, BJP consolidating its leads and gains. Let's now look at the overall East seat share. If you look at the 153 seats, and if I look at the vote shares, 47% of the vote for the NDA, 37% for the India Alliance. When converted into seats, in the east of India, 103 seats for the NDA, 38 for the India Alliance, 12 for the others.
And I think this is a story. You know, while we focused a lot on the BJP's dominance in North India, its dominance in Western India, it is in the east that the sun is rising, the lotus is beginning to bloom, particularly when you include a Bihar and the northeast. I'm presuming Yashwant's included all the states of the northeast, the Manipurs, the Nagaland.
No, so we will spend time on each of the northeastern states, just so that people know. We're going to go into a break, show you the national big picture, but we're going to spend time on each of the northeastern states as well.
Hello and welcome once again to India Today's Mood of the Nation poll. All the findings in India Today magazine brought to you by C Voter. We've gone state by state over the last 3 hours. We've gone from the north, south, west and east. It's time now to give you the big picture. What would happen if general elections, which are not too far away, were held today? Rahul, take it away. Give us the big numbers. Can Narendra Modi do his hat-trick after all? Will it be 400 par? Rahul.
This is the moment all of you have been waiting for. No Indian Prime Minister since Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has won thrice over in 3 successive elections. If elections were held today, does the NDA reach 400 par as they'd like to believe? Is the BJP achieving its mission 370? We've seen the talk. Let's see the numbers. The NDA Alliance projected to bag 45% of the vote share, which is what the NDA Alliance had in the last election as well. The India Alliance expected to bag 38% of the national vote share, which is 11% more than the last time, but that's also because last time it was UPA, this time it is the India Alliance. So parties like the Trinamool, at this moment, this could change soon after our broadcast, but at this moment officially they are part of the India Alliance, which is why as a national aggregate their vote share is up 11%. The others from 28% are now coming down to 17%, down 11. That's as far as the alliance-wise vote share is concerned, where there is a very clear gap of 7 percentage points between the NDA and the India Alliance. Let's take a look at how this converts into seats. 400 par is Prime Minister Modi's war cry. They're heading there, but not there yet. 335 is the current projection by C Voter for the India Today group for this Mood of the Nation opinion poll, the last MOTN before the Lok Sabha elections. 335, way short of 400 at this moment. This is 18 down from the last election. So if you take all the allies together, they had 18 more last time. They're down at 335 at this moment. The India Alliance is at 166. That's 75 seats more than the last time. The others are at 42, 57 down, but that's an apples and oranges comparison because some of the parties which were in the others have now moved to the India Alliance. The big story, though, is that the NDA is set to come back to power quite comfortably. See, you want to hit 4 centuries in one match, you're hitting 3.5 centuries just yet. And remember, Rajdeep, there's also the fact that once this message goes out that Prime Minister Modi is comfortably placed, then a lot of people may decide, "Arey, vote kya waste karna, isi ko do," because if he's coming back. So that ultimately could also come into play.
You know, there seems to be, Rahul, an inevitability about the outcome. I think this is one of those strange or rare elections where it almost seems, at least when you speak to political observers and politicians, that the outcome is known. It's a question of where does the NDA, BJP-led NDA end up? Where does the BJP end up? These numbers are showing the BJP is roughly just around where it was in 2019. The NDA is marginally down, but as you said, there could be a bump it could get in the next 2 months because if it campaigns hard, and the BJP is known to do that. Plus, Could it get more allies? Remember, all of this is before the possibility of a Chandrababu Naidu or an Akali Dal joining in. All of that could take the BJP above 350. I know that there is all this buzz about 400 par. That perhaps will require the perfect storm. But the BJP has set the base. I think what this Mood of the Nation poll shows, people want Mr. Modi back. The majority seem to want Mr. Modi back for a third term in the first past the post system. And unless there's some kind of a miracle in the next 6 to 8 weeks, the India alliance will have to simply accept next time, or good luck to you, 2029. 2024 appears as close to a done deal, Rahul, with these numbers.
And the Prime Minister's
popularity remains pretty high again.
It will be interesting to see whether he just wants to equal Nehru's record or actually be around the next time to beat Nehru's record, or at least attempt to beat Pandit Nehru's record. Let's take you through how the party-wise vote share and seat share would stack up. We looked at the alliance-wise numbers. Let's now look at the party-wise numbers. The Bharatiya Janata Party had 37% of the vote in the last election. That is expected to go up by a massive 3%. I'm saying massive because in a national context, for one party to be able to increase its vote share by 3%, that is a very significant achievement. The Congress had 20% of the vote share last time. See voters predicting at this moment that that could come down to 19, just a dip of 1. Others were at 43, they could be at 41. The big story there, though, is that the Bharatiya Janata Party, which in the last elections was standing at 37% vote share, could go up a massive 3% to 40.
You know, Rahul, there are two big stories. One is the BJP story, the possibility, as you said, that Prime Minister Modi will emulate what Nehru did, win 3 consecutive elections. The other story is the Congress party, losing 3 consecutive elections and its vote share not changing. I keep repeating, there's one figure that stands out for me, Rahul. The BJP got around 7.5 crore votes in 2009. It went up by a whopping 200% to over nearly 22 crores by 2019 in a decade. The Congress vote has remained relatively static at 11 crores. So while we are looking at the BJP and the big picture of Mr. Modi winning his hat-trick, we've got to also look at the Congress party. And I think somewhere there are two stories. But it's not static.
If the pie is growing up and your portion, say you're actually declining very badly. So you're not static. See, you're declining.
Your vote share is remaining static.
For a moment, and before we kickstart our discussion, let's take you through how this stacks up in terms of seats. We've looked at the vote share numbers. Let's take a look at how many seats each of these parties is projected to bag. The BJP, remember, had a 303 rifle that they were firing last time. This time it's 304. So it's not Mission 370. That's his rallying war cry. They're not there yet. 304 is where they stand. 71 is where the Congress stands, which is up 19 from the last time. Remember, there are gains in states like Telangana, which are helping the Congress do better than it did last time. Others at this moment are at 168, down 20. So that's where it stands. Prime Minister Modi very comfortably placed to be PM once more, which is why Raj Chingappa and his team are saying it's get set for a hat-trick.
Raj, you want to give us what your headline is? What is it hat-trick? Is it the Modi momentum? What is it?
It is set for a hat-trick.
So is it about Modi? Is it about the BJP? How do you see it? I see your cover has Mr. Modi imperiously walking down.
So we're calling it heading for a hat-trick. But let's, just for a moment look at the figures that are there.
Yes.
I mean, it's commendable that Mr. Modi in his 10th year is able to deliver the kind of numbers to the BJP and the NDA. And look at the term that he does it. In the second term, I mean, every world leader was under pressure, put on the mat. There was a once-in-a-century pandemic that was there. You had a complete collapse of the economy. You had the Chinese intrusion coming in. You had 2 wars, the Gaza and Ukraine war that pushed up inflation. Everything that could go wrong goes wrong. And yet, when we see at the end of 10 years, Mr. Modi is not only shining, but is up there in the league of greatness, possibly statesmanship that is happening. So I think we have to give him credit for what is it. Now, whether he's going to beat the record of Nehru, that has to be seen, but the polls indicate that. Whether he will beat the record of Rajiv Gandhi in 1984, that is to be seen, because 400 at the moment, from what we took in these last 3 years, 3 or 4 bellwether states, the NDA seems to be holding, but not really catching up to the 370 that Mr. Modi wanted. I think what we will see in the next 2 months, there will be, I believe, because the way it is trending, and I studied what we did in 2014, when Dr. Manmohan Singh was aspiring and the Congress party was aspiring for a third term. If you looked at our Mood of the Nation poll at that time, in January 2014, the Congress was down to 100, and the UPA was down to 122 seats. And the BJP, the trend line was that the NDA and the BJP was going to win it. Here, it's just the opposite. The ruling dispensation is doing it. So I would think that we are going to see a Modi wave, because they can only get better from here. They seem to have equaled what they've done, and we're going to see this huge movement. There are caveats, which...
We will come to the caveats in a moment, but is that how you see it? The big takeaway is the BJP has consolidated, holding its own. If anything, Yashwant Deshmukh, it could go up, possibly, in the next 2 months, depending on the nature of the campaign, the kind of momentum that you tend to get, that the winner gets a kind of bandwagon effect.
Well, bandwagon or not, I've explained the relative turnout thing, which I think will be a very decisive factor, because I believe within the same vote share and sphere, just the higher relative turnout will give BJP extra 2-3 point jump, just by virtue of being able, organizationally and resourcefully, taking the supporter from their home to the polling booth. Out of that, having said that, you all know that from the seat projection perspective, I am a very, very conservative pollster. For what Raj is indicating, what Amitabh is indicating, probably is, they are poking me that, Yashwant, this is the starting block. And I agree to that, because when I look into the gap of 20% vote share for the BJP, Rajdeep, it's like it is likely to end up a complete sweep in many of the states where marginally I have probability-wise given 2 or 3 seats to the others. So if you look into the 335, it can easily be 350 just by taking into the other sweeping stakes of the BJP.
So is there any caveat at all, Rahul Verma? Is there an inevitability of the outcome, as I said, where the question now remains whether the BJP is where Yashwant has pegged them at 303, NDA at 335, or does the BJP go up to 340, 350, NDA 370, 380? Are these the only 2 scenarios you see, or is there a possibility of a 2004 miracle that the opposition is holding on to?
In Indian politics, there is always possibility, but the other term I'll use is probability. The probability of this now turning in a reverse direction is very, very low. And see what is happening in some ways, just to sort of like add to what Rahul was saying. PM Nehru in his successive elections, 52, 57, 62, Congress vote share did not improve. What is happening with BJP, 31, 37, and now projected is 40, 4 months ahead or 3 months ahead of election. And given if it's a conservative estimate, BJP being an organizational party can actually pick up more votes. With that kind of vote difference, the seat translation is going to be heavy. And second point, Congress is holding on to its 18% vote share and 70 seats because of its perhaps performance in Telangana and states like that. And we don't know what would conspire in some of these states. If BJP ties up with, say, BRS, Telangana seat tally might change.
What happens to the Congress party, Rashid Kidwai? 3 consecutive defeats, 15 years out of power. And while they may get 70 seats as per our poll, that could even come down to 40, 50 if the BJP goes up by 2030. Where does that leave the Congress party? Can it hold together with a third debacle?
Yeah. I think, Rajdeep, it may sound a bit odd and bizarre, but the Congress would be very happy to know Yashwant Deshmukh's, finding and mood of the nation that Congress is getting 71 Lok Sabha seats. It will give them a formal position of leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. Remember, Congress is very easily satisfied party, and that's the one reason why it is going down. On the other side, when Bharat Jodo Yatra, and this is a very big lesson for Rahul Gandhi, when Bharat Jodo Yatra was started in first phase, it was thought that with that yatra, Rahul Gandhi Congress would be able to increase, its vote percentage by 3 to 4%. They were actually hoping for 25%. So it's a very bad news that Congress is not getting vote percentage, no increase in vote percentage. I think individually in states, there will be breakaway Congress factions because nobody wants to be in opposition forever.
Amitabh, your big takeaway from these numbers, clearly it shows 2 months before the election, perhaps, as I said, more than any other election, a dead certainty as to who the winner is. I can only compare it with January 2019. January 2019, which is the best comparison to make, the Congress had just won 3 states in North India, and the poll suggested a tightening of the contest. The India Today mood of the nation actually suggested a tightening of the contest.
A coalition government for the NDA.
A potential coalition government for the NDA. Now we are seeing a clear majority for the BJP. What's your big takeaway? Is Indian politics heading towards some kind of a dominant party system, or is it about Prime Minister Modi being this domineering leader?
So BJP is, of course, attaining the pole position which Congress used to acquire during the 1950s to 1990s. At that point of time, Congress was competing mostly against regional parties. Here we have BJP competing mostly against regional parties because regional parties tally is 168 seats. BJP is increasing its vote share. Congress is holding on to its vote share, and all its gains are coming at the cost of regional parties.
In fact, the story, Rahul, for me is once again that remember 186 seats, roughly 186 seats, direct contest in 2019, Congress versus BJP. Congress won just 12. BJP won most of those seats by double digits. Nothing has changed. It's almost as if the Congress is where it is, comatose in a way electorally, and the BJP is growing. And
because they're not listening.
And the other factor, which is also in a way worrying, is the North-South divide. The BJP dominating North India, dominating West India, doing even very well in the East. It's only the South which seems to be marching to its own beat. And I wonder what the implications of that will be long term.
If the Congress had any good sense, and I'm not at this moment certain that the people who do are looking so obsessively at this election in the way that the BJP is, they should sit into a room, Messrs. Kharge, Rahul Gandhi, Uddhav Thackeray, Sharad Pawar, and say, let's thrash out the Maharashtra seat-sharing formula before we leave. Sit from morning till evening, go seat by seat, thrash it out, compromise, and do the same for Telangana. Figure out who your candidates are, get on the ground. Instead of just spattering your ammunition all over the place, focus on their... No, but they're not even invited, Rashid. That's the problem. Each of those leaders are saying...
Because Rahul Gandhi is there, so they need to...
But what is more important? Sitting and fighting and trying to win the few seats you have an opportunity of winning, or this yatra which only seems to be causing trouble?
Can I make an even more controversial point?
Which is what?
If I was the opposition today and I saw your numbers and the mood of the nation and all of us predicting the inevitability or the probability of the outcome, I would actually see one opportunity, and that is focus on state elections. There are going to be, look, there's a Lok Sabha election which the outcome seems inevitable. It's about whether...
No, but you cannot, if you're in the opposition, you cannot take it as inevitable. You have to fight the election.
No, you have to fight. That's why I said it's a contentious point. I have 100 rupees in my pocket. I would put at least 80 rupees of that into state elections. There's Haryana, there's Maharashtra, there's Jharkhand, there's Bihar next year, then there's a series of other elections. Look, in the Lok Sabha, you can pick up, I'm only going by the mood of the nation, Rahul. You can pick up 20, 30 seats by what you're saying, better seat adjustments, do a little bit in Maharashtra, work out your numbers. You should do that. Of course you should. Every election has to be fought. But when I look at the priorities, my concern for this kind of opposition is that they seem to not even be able to get their act together often in state elections. Maharashtra is a good example. There's an election in Maharashtra in September, October. You win Maharashtra, you lift the morale. Imagine what happens if you lose Lok Sabha badly and then also you suffer a debacle in Maharashtra and Haryana. Eventually, and don't forget, Karnataka, the government could be on notice given the kind of numbers that we are showing. Telangana, the Congress has a small majority. So, the Congress Mukt Bharat or an opposition Mukt Bharat is in a way a reality if these numbers hold on. I would say focus on state elections, get your act together, and I agree with you. At the moment, you should be sitting across a table, working out seat sharing, working out some kind of plan. I don't see that, which is why I think Yashwant has underestimated the BJP. My numbers are, I did my own polling, 340 plus BJP, 370 plus ND Alliance. I'm not ruling out even a bigger number than that.
Yes.
That's the way I see it. I believe that the opposition is totally despondent.
Rashid Kidwai, are we seeing a phenomena similar to what we saw during the Gujarat Assembly elections, where because of what Rajdeep is saying, because of what others in the opposition seem to be thinking, the opposition just gives up the fight? Like when I traveled through Gujarat in the last Assembly election, the opposition, the Congress wasn't even in the fight. AAP was trying to put up some fight. See, it's a self-perpetuating prophecy. If you don't fight, your opponents do even better. The BJP ended up with 154 out of 182. If the Congress had fought harder on every seat in every region, they may have done better. You give up the fight thinking, you take what Rajdeep is saying seriously, say, because the opposition takes what he's saying very seriously. If they start taking what he's saying seriously and not fighting this Lok Sabha election and preparing for the Assembly election, jitna bura pitenge, usse aur pit jayenge.
Too late hai, Rahul. Ye sab hota chahiye tha 6 mahine pehle.
You see, the biggest problem with this opposition in 2024 is there is no sense of ownership. There is regional parties and there is Congress. When we talk about Congress, there is an official AICC President Mallikarjun Kharge, and there is a Rahul Gandhi who represents the political leadership of the Congress. Now each person.
So what does Kharge represent then?
He's a Congress president, but he lacks that kind of political leadership. That's what I'm saying. There is no sense of ownership.
Not political leadership, political authority. He's not been given the political authority.
Can I just come in at this point? Take a look at the opposition. If, for instance, the Congress, if it had won one state in the north, Madhya Pradesh, where it was, anti-incumbency was clear. So it was so close to actually turning the election. Because if you go back in the year that's there, firstly you win Himachal in December, then you come back and win Karnataka, I'm talking last year. You have the India alliance being formed at that particular point of view. You knew where your battles were. Okay. This is the difference between what the BJP does, which knows that these 3 seats were critical for them to get the momentum to win the Lok Sabha. Easily the story could have turned, and the mistakes the Congress started making.
Sanju Verma is with us and Radhika Khera is with us. Sanju Verma, to you first. I hope you've got some laddus and some mithai for Yashwant Deshmukh, Raj Chingappa and everybody else over here, because it seems that the Prime Minister...
She won't give me.
She won't give you?
She won't give me mithai.
No, she just said you were doing a great job when you were trending. She should give you mithai also. Now, 304, after 10 years of being in power for the BJP, 335 for the NDA, it seems no matter whether you get to 400 and 370 or not, the outcome of the next election seems to be heavily skewed in your favor.
Yeah, Rahul and Rajdeep, there's this famous saying by Norman Vincent, if you shoot for the moon, you will at least land among the stars. So whether it's 370 or 400 or 335, what have you. Point number 1, BJP is romping home with a massive majority all on its own. Point number 2, I remember that famous interview with Prashant Kishore a few days back, where Rajdeep kept asking him, what is the secret sauce around brand Modi? So I have something to say to the Congress. हम तो जीतेंगे ही, पर कांग्रेस के जो समर्थक हैं, ये ध्यान से सुनिए. जो जानकर भी अनजान बना रहे, उसे दर्द क्या बताना? जो जानकर भी अनजान बना रहे, उसे दर्द क्या बताना? अभी मगरूर है वो, खुद में उन्हें क्यों होश में लाना? अभी मगरूर है वो, खुद में उन्हें क्यों होश में लाना? एहसास तब होगा उन्हें जब छोड़कर जाऊंगा. एहसास तब होगा उन्हें जब छोड़कर जाऊंगा. फिर नहीं होगा मुमकिन मेरा लौट कर आना. फिर नहीं होगा मुमकिन मेरा लौट कर आना. The voters have time and again.
कौन छोड़ के जा रहा है?
अरे भाई साहब, वोटर्स ने छोड़ दिया है, but Rahul Gandhi refuses to look into the mirror and get a reality check. But now I will speak with hard numbers. Just bear with me for 20 seconds. Of course,
before you go on, you've thrown a poetic punch. Radhika Khera, I don't know how good your shairi is. She's thrown a poetic punch at you. That's a bit of a googly. Can you come back on the spur with a counter? Let's see. The numbers aren't favoring you, but let's see how good your shairi is. Go for it, Radhika.
I'm sure that these numbers are a disappointment for the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson, because their claims of ab ki baar 400 par have gone down over here itself in your survey. But coming back to that, I feel that surveys are not actually showing the true picture. The true picture is what I have here. I'm sorry, I don't believe in shairi and all, because we are not here for entertainment. And India Today is for talking about hard facts. Hard fact, today's newspaper which says, Kisan karenge aaj Delhi ka coup. This is the reality of the country today. The reality of the country today is that our wrestlers were sitting outside protesting, and what were they given in return of their protest? Lathia. The reality is that the entire country is reeling under inflation, unemployment, poor law and order. While Modi ji goes and pats himself on the back. I did not speak in between. So kindly have some
Sanju Verma, you must allow her to speak. No, please put down Sanju Verma's voice. You must allow her to speak.
We are a democratic country, and India Today is a democratic channel where you cannot mute my mic and you will let me speak. You cannot control the opposition over here. Well, coming back, the country is watching how over 100 parliamentarians were suspended for parliament because they were raising their voice. Country is watching everything. Country is watching how governments are being brought down, being scared by the ED. Parties are being broken down and new fractions are being become. Country is watching everything. Yes, there have been disappointments that we've had in the recent elections in Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, but all surveys were predicting that Congress was winning Chhattisgarh. And Rajdeep, you even visited Chhattisgarh. The mood of Chhattisgarh was absolutely different on the ground. But something else happened. So I don't think that
So I want to go back to Sanju Verma. Sanju, while the overall picture is very rosy, or should I say there are lots of lotuses in the overall national picture, and they're blooming, Maharashtra is a concern, Telangana is a concern, having an alliance in Andhra Pradesh, potentially even Punjab is a concern. And the way that the BJP has been operating, my sense is that they may be looking at these states where they're not doing well and trying to double down and figure out how to make the tactical arrangements to do well here.
I will answer your question, and now I hope the courtesy will be extended to me. Ruling party ke pravakta ka mic mute nahi kiya jayega. Radhika Kera, I agree with her on one thing. She said this is a serious channel. We are not here for entertainment. I completely agree. Entertainment to Rahul Gandhi de rahe hain, bharpoor entertainment as part of his Bharat Jodo Nyay Yatra. There he says, "Stuff mein koyla dalo aur stuff jal jata." I thought that the stuff runs on kerosene or fuel. For the first time, I learned that the stuff runs on coal. So please don't sit here and give me your half-baked knowledge. Now I will come to the hard facts. Rahul, I will not even talk about what Mr. Arun Puri said in August 2023. These are famous quotes of his, which I really love reading them all over again on every debate. In August 2023, after your then Mood of the Nation poll, he said, Narendra Modi has pulled off what few leaders have. He has banished the universal factor of anti-incumbency. Narendra Modi's popularity rankings defy the law of gravity. I'm quoting Mr. Arun Puri ad verbatim. And I'll tell you why, jahan Narendra Modi khade ho jate hain, wahi se line shuru ho jati hai, because we had votes or number of seats at 17.6 crore in Lok Sabha 2014. People said, this was just happenstance. We got the number of seats, winning seats at 23 crore votes. 23 crore people voted for Narendra Modi in 2019, which means there was a 31% increase in our winnable seats between 2014 and 2019. Now, I am not even going to assume that BJP will see a 3% uptick in its vote share from 37 to 40%, as Rahul said. Let us assume that the vote share continues to remain at 37%. It does not rise to 40%. I'm being conservative, despite being an Andh Bhakt and a Modi Bhakt. Despite having a vote share at just 37%, just going by past track record, if you extrapolate the numbers, you will see 30 crore people voting for BJP, assuming a 31% rise in number of seats. And if you assume just a
so you made that point, ma'am. I want to go across the table, ask Amitabh, what could be the X factors from here? We're in the beginning of February. We've got March still to go and then elections in April, May. What could change, good, bad, for both the opposition and the government?
See, X factors for the BJP clearly is the mood of the neutral or the undecided voters from now on, because BJP clearly has the momentum. The numbers are very strong for BJP. 335 NDA means if you add the reverses in Maharashtra and Bihar, which is 25 seats itself, 360. Plus you have a new ally from Andhra Pradesh, possibly 17 seats, 377. So mission 400 or 370 is not impossible. That's number one. This is largely predicated on the image of Prime Minister Modi. So if there is a black swan event which dents the popularity of Modi, that is the only event which could probably tilt the numbers in favor of the opposition. It's all about Modi, his popularity. He is getting the votes for the BJP, and he is the difference between the
But this is an important point, Rajingappa, that it's essentially no matter who thinks what of it, the fact is, and you can quantify this, and we'll do this tomorrow, but if the BJP is winning in the way that it is, it's because of one man. And what this country thinks of one man, what anybody on this panel thinks of that man is inconsequential. The voters who we've spoken to would like Prime Minister Modi back. They have a direct connect with him. They have faith in him. They trust him. They want him back.
Well, let's call it brand Modi. That is really a phenomenon that has happened. And just looking at what Amitabh said, even in adversity, he comes out the winner. You had Pulwama, which is a black swan sort of event that happened in the thick of election. He converts that into a great opportunity. Take a look at his second term. Each of these things, COVID, he's first castigated. Our polls itself show that it goes down, comes back, with a bang, makes sure that the economy is growing, takes care of the people on one side. Then let's also look at I think there are a couple of qualities we have to look at Mr. Modi. Decisive leadership. Article 370 goes. Early in the tenure that is there. Ram Temple, built at terrific speed. The Parliament House built it. Women's reservation bill put there. So you are seeing, if you take a look at some of the characteristics of leadership, vision, he has it. He's not only showing a vision for these next 5 years, he's looking, many people could say, well, that's, really pushing the target too far. But he's giving a nation, an aspiring nation, a road to development. And I think that's very important. So he's able to balance the Hindutva sentiment, which is the cultural sentiment that you want, or the soul of the nation, with pragmatic governance, decisive leadership, and this quality that he demonstrates in terms of welfareism as well. So he's taken all the planks of the opposition, appropriated all of them, made it his own, and has really, that is why you're seeing
he's
the kind
building,
of
Rajdeep, a new republic, whether anybody likes it or not. Very different from the Nehruvian idea of India in the last 10 years, and he'll cement it in the next 5 if these numbers are correct. He has, in front of our eyes, built a new India.
Look, as I said, the Prime Minister is a consummate politician, and it isn't easy to hold on to your popularity over an extended period of time, particularly when you've gone through several black swan events over the last decade. That is a given. I like to use sort of M factors, and I'm going to give you 7, each of which I think it's not just Mr. Modi's secret sauce. I put Mr. Modi at the top. I put machine. The BJP is a machine. And the machine...
No, they built a machine. You mean machine, you think like it's a machine lying on the ground. Anybody can do a machine. They built a machine.
Of course they built a machine, but the machine has various aspects to it. The machine knows how to use state power. It will know when to corner the opposition.
So did the Congress when they were in opposition. So did the Congress.
Sure, of course.
But the Congress didn't build the structure that the BJP has built.
When you say that, Mr. Modi is building a new republic, I just want to give the elements, I think, that are important as to why is he still winning. There's Prime Minister Modi, consummate politician, knows how to use power. There's the machine of the BJP, the RSS, the Sangh Parivar. There's the message. The message, interestingly, look at Mr. Modi's message in the last month since Ram Mandir. He's not focusing on Mandir, he's focusing on Viksit Bharat, talking about infrastructure projects, talking about Amrit Kal. Cleverly knows how to change the goalposts. This is over, let's move on to the next. So the opposition doesn't know what will come next. Number 3. Number 4 is money. Let's be honest, Indian elections, the oxygen of Indian elections are increasingly money. The BJP dominates that space like no other party has done. The Congress may be in its pomp, but that time, the opposition was much weaker.
No, but that time the Congress leaders, many of them pocketed the money themselves. There's different structure they are getting for the machine. A lot of the Congress leaders, and you know this well, pocketed.
It's not as if in Maharashtra we don't have khoke ki rajniti. Let's not say that we
institutional corruption in the manner in which there was under the UPA. That's not the case.
The jury is out on that, but I'm willing to concede that the Prime Minister has made it, ensured that the party comes first at the very top. Not in the case of the Congress, individuals came ahead of the party. Then you have Mandir. I think as the survey is also going to show, Ram Mandir has taken the Prime Minister's own popularity to another level. That's where it comes that, you're crafting a new ideological republic in a way, moving away from the Nehruvian idea to a new idea of a new republic. Who knows, uniform civil code comes next. Then, and I think this is crucial, you have the Mahagathbandhan. You see, you're as good as your opposition is. If you're playing a terrible opposition, which is so badly divided, which has really made no effort to actually build on the weaknesses of the government. It's not as if the government doesn't have weaknesses. Unemployment is a problem. Our survey also shows that. What have you done to build it? You have had 4 meetings of the India Alliance, all in 5-star hotels, or 3 of them in 5-star hotels, one in Patna where Nitish Kumar, your convener, has gone. You made no effort to capitalize when COVID management was going wrong, to build a kind of consensus. We need change. You've not offered me a leadership or a narrative to combat Modi. I think that's an important element. You're as good as your opposition is. Finally, and I know, Rahul, this is contentious, the media. Let's be honest, no one has dominated the media space quite like Mr. Modi is. So we've never really questioned, for example, the misuse of the ED in the way that it should be. The poll also shows a number of Indians believe the ED is being misused. So I think Mr. Modi is Teflon-like. All of this comes together to make him almost impregnable, pregnable. And I think, credit to him. It's not easy in today's world to be as popular in 2024 as you were in 2014.
More popular,
you can say, but it's a combination of various factors. Your popularity is also dependent on how unpopular the other side is.
No, but that's not Modi's fault.
It's not.
If his opponents don't know how to bat and bowl, how can you blame Modi for that?
Rahul, who's blaming Modi? I'm giving the reasonings. The reasoning is the opposition in the last 10 years has had opportunities. Demonetization was an opportunity. COVID was an opportunity. You had the chance to question the government in a serious manner. As this poll is showing, the regional parties are holding on to their own. But the Congress has been unable to rediscover itself. So the question will also have to be asked on Rahul Gandhi's leadership at some stage. Surely, this poll, how long is the Congress going to sort of protect him?
I think the biggest problem that the opposition is facing is a face. Who Modi versus who? Is it Mallikarjun Kharge? Is it Rahul Gandhi? Is it Mamata Banerjee? Is it Arvind Kejriwal? So people have no idea. Is it M.K. Stalin? Is it some other, chief minister? So, nobody knows. So therefore, Mr. Modi is having it, very easy. And the survey is indicating at that. If there was a face, if there was a, sort of caste affiliation, if there was issues, talking points attached to it, perhaps the outcome may not have been very different, but there would be something like 2019-like situation.
Is he invincible? I mean,
at this point of time,
can we say that Mr. Modi is invincible? Could the opposition have done anything better to change the mood of the nation?
Maybe a better word is unstoppable.
Yes.
What could it have done?
There is always a possibility, but I think of politics structurally. And the nature of politics is such that opposition does not have many chances. To use a cricket analogy, if, say, Tendulkar or Virat Kohli is in full form, no matter you ball a Yorker or you ball a sort of like, a googly and spin, they will hit you.
But Tendulkar has got gold, Modi has never got gold.
This is why leaders are important. But think of 50s and 60s politics. Was there no leaders in opposition? There was Lohia and other things. Could they challenge Nehru and Congress party? No, because in political time, now you counted 7 things. Everything is in favor of BJP, right? So at the moment, I don't think there is any X factor. The only X factor could be that we have no sense of what's happening on the ground. People have made up different mind and they are telling something else. So at the moment, everything is aligned in favor of
Here's what I wish to say. Let's just zoom out for a moment and think of the larger picture in a more historical perspective. I was at the Pran Pratishtha of the Ram Mandir at Ayodhya, where while Prime Minister Modi was being introduced, he was linked to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, as the ideal Hindu king, who at that time, really demonstrated all the virtues that good Indian kings should have. So he's kind of being projected in a historical arc in that same kind of weight category. Rahul Verma, is there any contemporary political figure who comes to your mind who 10 years on, not just in India because there's no comparison here, but even internationally, 10 years after being in power, manages to increase his party's vote share by 3%. Go back in time. Who comes to your mind?
Can I make someone who can?
Yeah, who?
We often tend to, since Nehru is still in the news. Remember, Nehru in the early 60s was a weakened prime minister. The war with China, despite that, won. Please understand.
No, but his vote share kept coming down. But his vote share in the years that he was in power, the Congress kept losing ground, the BJP is gaining ground. And there was no opposition.
But where is the opposition today?
That's what I'm saying.
Where is the opposition today?
There was no opposition.
I would only like, since you asked, I think only Nehru can be compared.
Rahul Verma, okay, so you've got Nehru, Modi, Modi.
From a party who got us independence, that kind of goodwill to Congress party after 47 with all the heavyweights of our freedom struggle on the Congress side. Let's be very, very honest. The 52-53 mandate was not Mr. Nehru's mandate.
62 I'm talking about.
62, yes. But the vote share dipped. Vote share dipped a lot.
No,
and
but
there
by
was
then
no
his
He
actions-
goes up in 57.
Yeah,
no, but in
yeah.
62 and after that, he's being punished for his actions. The people in India at this moment are rewarding Modi and the BJP for what they are seeing, far from punishing. Let's spend some time on this. Historically, who comes to your mind? Yashwant Deshmukh.
No, nobody. I mean, nearest that from the... and one point which I wanted to make where I can probably answer your question is the hunger to win and willingness to work 24/7 to let that happen. And that thing, only person which comes to my mind is Mrs. Indira Gandhi.
Yes.
Besides that, no other prime minister in India had a hunger to win.
I'm not restricting this
24/7.
conversation,
Okay, so
Raj Chingappa, to India. Raj Chingappa, in a historical context, who comes to your mind? Somebody democratically elected.
Only an authoritarian leader who knows how to fix who knows how to fix the mandate across
How
the
is he
world.
fixing the mandate?
No,
Putin.
I'm not talking about Modi. I'm talking the only when you say give me an example parallelly. There are democratic countries where you will have the likes of a Putin in Russia and Erdogan in Turkey who will know how to, in a way, manage the mandate.
Erdogan had a
But
very
in
tough fight. He won with 6 percentage points.
In a relatively free and fair system like ours, to do it over 3 elections with your popularity increasing, I think makes Prime Minister Modi sui generis.
You look at Algeria, where there was, this thing that Burj Khalifa, when Nehru was there, then I went with Hamid Ansari, he was still Prime Minister.
Yeah, but let's not compare Algeria with an India. I think, Rahul, you make a very good point. In a democratic society like ours, with all the pulls and pressures, as we are seeing in our poll, South India having a very different politics, states like Maharashtra, Bihar, Bengal, Karnataka looking tough for a while. I think Mr. Modi has done the remarkable job of holding his popularity. I will only say this, and I think this is an important point that we need to make. While we talk of the invincibility of the Prime Minister, and I think CSDS's post-poll in 2019 showed 1 out of every 3 voters voted for the BJP because of Prime Minister Modi. The BJP itself is not invincible. That's why I made the slightly controversial point that if I was the opposition, I would focus on states where Mr. Modi is not on the ticket. The BJP is weakened. You want a strategy for the future? Start from the states.
Okay,
the problem is you're going to make this, the India Alliance has come into this 2024 election with no clue of how they want to face up to Mr.
Just
Modi.
to remind the viewers, Rahul, once and again, we are so damn focused on 14, 19 and probability of 24 that we are forgetting the fact that BJP as a party has lost 50% of the elections in this country in the last 10 years. 50%.
Yeah.
So invincibility of Mr. Modi as an individual which the BJP is benefiting from is not exactly the invincibility of the BJP. Number one. Number two, yes, I concede and I understand being a conservative pollster, this is probably the starting block of BJP and the NDA. And majority of our polling was happened before the Ayodhya Pran Pratishtha. That impact has to come in, and with the way they are looking out for alliance partners and the way they are going about it, this can only go up. Having said that, if you will ask me if there is any, I don't see a black swan because nobody can predict a black swan, but one red flag, that is the complacency factor. Complacency factor was the factor which caused them.
Are they looking complacent to you?
No, they are not. But 2004, urban areas, the turnout dropped by 18%, and that caused the
Modi is no
BJP.
Vajpayee.
That's precisely what I was trying to say. They have learned their lessons pretty hard, and neither
Also,
Modi
there
is
is a very-
Can I give you a very
nor
interesting
Mr.
anecdote now?
Bhagwat is Mr. Sudarshan.
Sure.
Both the factors are remaining.
Can I give you a very interesting anecdote? This morning, I was told by an MP, Parliament has been extended by a day. The BJP is going to put out a white paper on what the Congress did over 10 years. क्या जरूरत है अगर 300 सीट मिल रहे हैं? What to put white paper? लगता है desperate है. मैंने कहा desperate नहीं है. They want to take that 320, 330 that the mood of the nation is good because he wanted to know the numbers. 320, 330 to 370, 375. एक दिन भी नहीं छोड़ना है Parliament का. If we can get an extra Saturday in, where all the TV channels for 7-8 hours will talk about this white paper, keep the mahal going. So there is no complacency. On the other hand, it's like a team which has scored 350 runs is sure to win. But things, yeah, last 10 overs में और 100 run करके 450 जाते हैं.
Amitabh Tiwari, look at how this 400 par is seeping into the psyche of the opposition. The Congress guests we had today, even Kharge ji in Parliament, they are referring to 400 par. They should be dissing the idea of It's like you have the most forget ideology for a moment. You have the most competent practitioner of the political craft up against the most inept practitioners of politics in the Congress.
You are right.
That is why when you
Rahul,
have them go head to head.
What Modi did, sorry, Raj, just
a quick point. I think one, when you look at what he's done in terms of 370 and 400 for the NDA, he's addressing what the concerns Yashwant was talking about. He has pushed the bar even further, higher and better. So, and today you feel he's getting 303 and he shouldn't be getting 400.
No, but you heard what Rashid said. The second Congress will be happy with this.
The second point I would like to make. It's not a point.
Yes. You see, the Congress thinks that if India Today and Yashwant Deshmukh are saying 71, it means Congress is well past 100 seats.
That's how they're thinking.
Yeah.
No, I just have a quick addition to this one. You were asking about who else would you go. I think Mr. Modi is in a league of his own. And
internationally.
Internationally, yes. And see, we are the world's largest democracy. I think we have produced great leaders.
Precisely.
You may not agree with Nehru or what he did. Come at the hour, it was Nehru. Come at the hour, this time, it was Modi. And I think we must, in many sense, commend that rather than bring comparisons Indira Gandhi.
So Nehru is one comparison. I'm saying go internationally, Raj, with all the expertise and experience.
You see, there, you could get other kinds of leaders who had just held on to power.
In the recent power, probably
you can't have any comparison with American presidents because they have to give up their terms in two terms. You might end up with a Putin, Erdogan, and all those. These are not the kind of leaders you'd like to match this. Or even Xi Jinping, the other side, right? He's also there, but of course a completely different system. So if you really look in terms of democratic nations, as I said, he's in a league of his own. I don't think we need to bring comparisons. Here's a person, as Rajdeep described, we talked of leadership. We have to appreciate that. May like him, may not like him. There is something about him that is, converted a nation of 1.6.
I think, again, I completely agree with Raj, and just to add to him, see, what sets Modi apart from everyone, Nehru inherited a party and an organization. Modi also inherited. But BJP was not present in many parts of India as a strong force. What Modi has done in these 10 years has put the party on map in eastern India. In many states where they were in single digit are now running governments. Right? So what he has done electorally has basically created that machine which was there, maybe using all kinds of things. But now BJP is a very, very formidable and unparalleled election machine in contemporary politics across the globe. I think that is one of his biggest
across the globe, you think?
Yeah, can I add two more M's? Interesting. One is middle class. I remember Arun Jaitley telling me this 10 years. He says, as India becomes more and more middle class country, he believed that the BJP was there at the right place, right tap to capture on the energies of this middle class. I believe post 1991, ironically, the Congress party didn't capitalize on the zeitgeist of this new India. They went in the other direction when they should have actually taken credit for Manmohanomics, built this middle class constituency. Look at across urban India, and as India gets more and more urbanized, look at BJP's performance across urban areas. Mr. Modi is popular in both rural and urban. We forget the Labharti scheme and the impact that has had, direct benefit transfer, using it to put money in people's hands. But I think middle class has become a core constituency of the BJP, and they've built around that. And whether we like it or not, it may be the elephant in the room to some majoritarianism. Particularly in North India, there is a sense of a Hindu majority. The point you made, a new republic, somewhere it's the Hindu assertion. That also is a major factor. When I add Labharti and Hindu assertion, I don't think you can win an election.
But which government in the past, Rajdeep, has spoken of making India a developed country and set a timeline for it?
Sure.
And actually then mobilize the will and try to build the circumstances which allow us to move in that direction. This is the only other government that I know.
Rahul, I want to only put one small caveat, which is there are areas of darkness in this country. Let's be honest. Whether it's the ethnic
but there are areas of darkness in the United States. There are areas of darkness in Europe.
Rahul, just as I believe the middle class has arrived, unemployment is a serious crisis. It's going to get worse in the era of automation. In education systems will not be able to match what what the new market needs. I just think,
agree with
let's
you
not,
to
let's
some
not say that
extent.
we've reached there.
No,
Mr. Modi is offering a dream. Mr. Modi is offering a dream.
And making the effort to achieve that dream. And
He's offering a dream.
He's offering a vision, and he's making the effort to take us in that direction. So it's not as if he's sitting on his laurels.
But then tell me why.
Aspiration is not just middle class, Rajdeep. Middle class is like 50 shades of grey. Anybody who is not in BPL family is a middle class. Okay. So from lower middle class to middle class to the higher middle class, it's an aspirational class. And he is a person who is showing a vision and a dream that, okay, you are maybe suffering, but what the India which I'm trying to make will be a great India for your kids, your grandchildren. And he is working towards that.
But then tell me, if this was also perfect, the double engine, as we saw in certain states, doesn't work. I think India is too complicated to reduce it to, Modi's captured the attention of all of India in every election.
That's why
he's captured it in a presidential style. In elections, increasingly are presidential at the national level. Mera leader kaun hoga? Mera prime minister kaun hoga? Mr. Modi, with his consummate abilities as a communicator, and the point I keep making, Rahul, which Prashant Kishore also now makes, Mr. Modi's been around 50 years in politics. He's seen various, these black swan events, you're able to conquer sometimes through your past experience. It's like a journalist. If you've been 40 years, we can do live program. Pehle saal, it was a struggle. Mr. Modi's been there. He's done the hard yards. Let's give him credit.
He's been in power since 2002.
He's been in power for 22 years, and that gives him experience of hand. On the other side,
he's become elite.
You've got regional leaders who've been stuck in their states. I think one of Mr. Modi's major achievements is from Gujarat Chief Minister. When he became Gujarat Chief Minister, we thought, ye kaise banega, RSS ka aadmi hai, has no experience in governance. When he becomes Prime Minister, we said, yeah, Prime Minister kaise banega?
You said.
Look, no, one minute. I will say this, and I have proof. Mr. Javed Akhtar at a dinner in 2012, 1 week after Modi won Gujarat a third time, he said, yaar, kya lagta hai, Modi ji aayenge center pe? To maine kaha, hai, I think Modi ji will come to the center. I think he will win the elections. 2012 December, before he tilted. He said, nahi, he is haunted by 2002, nahi ho sakta hai. I said, sir, there comes a time when a person can sort of go beyond his sort of past to the future. So I will not take that, but I will say this, that he surprised people. I would certainly.
And he continues to surprise people.
He continues to surprise.
He continues to surprise the same people who never cease to be surprised. But that's a different matter.
That's a good line. That's a good line.
No, but it's true. It's true.
That's true.
The thing is that, see, the matter of fact is that he works hard. And I think pretty much, and I've said this to Raj, that, as one of my physics professors, he never used to give us marks on the final answer of the numericals. He used to give us the marks on what did we attempt. Dimag lagaya ki nahi lagaya, koshish ki nahi ki. I think Indian voters are coming to an age where they want to see the leaders make an effort. If you make an effort, they are even willing to own up your failures. See how people have owned up his demonetization failure. Okay. People, majority of them say, galat tha, lekin sahi niyat se kiya.
Okay. Now, so we are out of time. We are out of time. We need to finish.
There are two politicians which are fascinating in that sense, using this effort point. One is Mr. Modi, one in a very different way, Naveen Patnaik. Yeah. 25 years, never lost, and you ask people, nahi sir, koshish kar raha hai. You see, Indian voters, he's right, want to reward well-intentioned.
Okay, so we are out of time. We need to wrap up. Rajdeep?
No, Rahul, just one little point. I think it's more than just try. Modi delivers. He has demonstrated that on time also. Whether it is building a parliament building, getting things done, he made sure. That is the culture change.
And also remember that at the end of 10 years, Dr. Manmohan Singh, with no disrespect to him, was completely tired. The government was just coming apart. Even Vajpayee ji, at the end of his 6 years, was very tired. He had to say, na tired, na retired. But, the government wasn't energetic. Prime Minister Modi continues to stay as energetic, as pumped up, where people around, and I've seen younger officers, much younger than him, and at New York, at the yoga day, I asked one young officer in his team, "Arey, tum kyun nahi kar rahe?" "Arey, nahi, unme zyada energy, hum mein kam." So, that's like people half his age. Okay, so Rajdeep, before we wrap up, if you were Modi, what song would you be singing tonight?
What's that song that Shah Rukh Khan had? Number one.
I don't expect me to know.
What
Does anybody else know? Batao,
I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. Koi hero yahan, koi zero yahan. I'm the best. Look,
if you're Rahul Gandhi, what song are you singing tonight?
You're putting me in trouble because you want... Ye kya hua, kab hua, Look, there are lots of songs. But look, seriously, I hope for the
Rashid has another song.
Can I though say something? For the sake of Indian...
Okay, Amitabh Tiwari, 1 second. If you
अपना टाइम आएगा
Yeah, that's
अरे भाई एडवाइजर्स बता रहे हैं उसको यही अपना टाइम आएगा
Rahul, he sounded like Devendra Yadav.
Look, let's not rule out
He's sounding
anything.
like Devendra Yadav.
He is saying Rahul Gandhi thinks अपना time आएगा.
नहीं, Rahul Gandhi is being advised कि साहब आपका टाइम आएगा.
Look, I hope for our sake of our democratic process and indeed for our television coverage, we have an exciting election. I hope that this mood of the nation doesn't result in most people believing up kyun dekhna hai.
No.
Jeetna to hai.
But
I hope we have a contest.
is that the reason he has given the shagufa of 360, 370 and 400? Because he might be feeling, Rajdeep bore ho raha hoga. Kuch naya do.
We're out of time.
You know, something
if you look at the numbers across social media, across digital, across television over the past 4 hours of programming, I can see that there is interest. So Rajdeep may be feeling slightly, there's no fun over here. There's a lot of excitement, buzz around the India story, a lot of excitement about the Bharat of the future and around these poll numbers as well. I think that will continue through. So I think Rajdeep's earned his dinner, sung for his supper.
Sung for my supper. India has been modified, it appears, as per the mood of the nation. We'll wait and see what the voter really wants. This was simply a teaser to what might be lying ahead.
So day 2 tomorrow. A lot of detail on impact of Ayodhya, the impact of Nitish Kumar switching in Bihar, the performance report card of the Prime Minister, his government, the opposition, all that and more coming up in part 2 of the India Today Mood of the Nation all through the day tomorrow. So we'll see you again.
Hello and welcome. You're with the India Today Mood of the Nation biannual survey brought to you in partnership with Sea Voter, which has done this comprehensive nationwide survey at a time when all eyes are on the big question: who will win the general elections of 2024? That's the question that we're going to answer in a detailed manner this time, but not just the big picture. We'll be going state by state to bring you all the results you've been waiting for.
This is the last Mood of the Nation opinion poll before the general elections of 2024, which is what makes this that much more important, and so much rides on the results of this Mood of the Nation opinion poll. Let's introduce you to our guests who are going to join us over the next several hours as we bring you the results of the Mood of the Nation poll. I want to start by introducing Yashwant Deshmukh, lead cephalogist at Sea Voter. He's got this fancy Himachali cap on and has been working very hard over the last several weeks, and lots of changes, Rajdeep, in the chess drawing board, forcing revisions in the MOTN sample. So he's really been working doubly hard, not just because of us, but also because of all the changes that have happened.
And there could be more changes within the next month. You know, change is the only constant.
Next month or tonight, tomorrow, there could be changes galore, and therefore we'll have to keep looking at these numbers very carefully. Flanking him is Raj Chingappa, editorial director at India Today magazine. He and his team have worked on compiling and dissecting the results of this poll, and you can read the analysis in the new issue of the magazine, which is out in stands now. We've got Amitabh Tiwari, who's joining us, political analyst, and to our left we've got Rahul Verma. Rashid Khidwai joins us, and we got Sanjay Kumar from CSDS. So this is really as sharp a political panel as can be, and I'm discounting myself. And no, I'm keeping Rajdeep there, discounting myself, but a very sharp panel on this. So what we'll do for a moment is take you through the methodology adopted by Sea Voter for this poll, and then we'll go state by state in getting you the results of this poll. So this Mood of the Nation opinion poll was done between the 15th of December and the 28th of January. Largely, some polling happened later when there were specific changes like there were in Bihar, but largely between the 15th of December and the 28th of January. For this poll, the sample size was 35,801. But Sea Voter, as our viewers know by now, has a continuing tracker sample. So that adds 1,13,000 interviews to the Mood of the Nation sample, giving us a robust sample size of 1,49,000 for this sample and the tracker that's been going on between the 15th of August and the 31st of January. So there's a 3% plus minus margin of error at the micro level, and Yashwant claims he has a 95% confidence level. So that said, Rajdeep, let's now dive straight into the numbers for Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, let's go state by state, and we are starting with the state of Uttar Pradesh, because remember, generally it's believed all roads to Delhi lead through Lucknow. That certainly to some extent has been the case in 2014 and 19, given the domination that the BJP has had in the Hindi heartland. But let's take a look at what the Mood of the Nation poll is saying. First, let's take a look at vote share, because vote share will give you a sense of where the parties stand. And what we are predicting at the moment is a 52% vote share for the NDA, which means that the NDA is actually up from last time. They're even higher than they were in 2019 when they did remarkably well in that election. The India Alliance, and presumably this India Alliance includes the Congress, the SP and the RLD as of now. The RLD could well switch sides. Therefore, at the moment, they're at 36%, up 10% last time, but they have lost the BSP, which was in 2019 with the Samajwadi Party, and others 12%, primarily the Bahujan Samaj Party. But the key thing is, how does this translate into seats? That's the difficult task that Yashwant has undertaken. The seats, what would the seats be in the 80-member UP Assembly? And just take a look at that. The NDA goes up from 64 to 72 out of 80. It's a gain of 8. So NDA, BJP holding rock solid in the saffron heartland in a way. The India Alliance 6 to 8, so only a marginal increase, and that's divided between 1 for the Congress and 7 for the Samajwadi Party. Others are completely wiped out. The 10 last time were the BSP. So Rahul, the first big numbers clearly show the BJP holding its own in what's become its bastion.
And if the BJP is already at 72 in the way the state plays right now, Yashwant, the most important question is, now that RLD is very clearly in talks with the BJP, if Jayant Chaudhary was to join the NDA, where could that 72 reach?
Well, I mean, of course, it will impact minimum number of 2 seats for sure. But it's not just about how many seats that RLD is contesting and they are likely to win. It's also about the overall impact of the Jat voter consolidation in the entire Western UP, and not just Western UP, but across in other states which have a significant number of Jat voters. So that, having said that, Rahul, let me be upfront about this one. And me and Raj discussed this so many times about the numbers of the seats and everything. You know, I am a conservative pollster. And I find it very difficult to tell people that, you know, why are these others or other NDA numbers or non-NDA numbers coming up, even when you have NDA or BJP crossing 50% of vote? That is simply because of the probability. When you say any party is there in that particular region, even if you cross 0 to 1, in UP with 6 regions, you end up with 0 to 6 kind of range. So it's also a question of probability. Otherwise, this number with this kind of a vote share could end up anywhere.
So you're saying it could be 80 also?
I will not say it cannot happen.
No, because he's sitting on 72 and he says, I'm conservative.
No, it is a possibility. You know, it can't be ruled out. But let's, you know, we are T20 style today. So I'm going to ask all our panelists quick responses, because we are going through the entire country. Raj Chenkappa, Uttar Pradesh, as I said, the road to Delhi reads through Lucknow. If this is the result of Lucknow, clearly the keys to Delhi are in the hands of Prime Minister Modi.
No doubt Uttar Pradesh is the bellwether state, and if it is showing the kind of results that the India Today See Voter poll is showing, the BJP is on its way. I would only like to point out a little bit of history, because the Prime Minister Modi had said he'd want to win 405 seats, and for the BJP 370 seats. So if you look back, the only person who did that was Rajiv Gandhi, who won 405, and of course subsequently it became 414 when Assam and Punjab were added on. And at that time in UP, that was the undivided UP, I think the Congress won 82 out of 85 seats. That was a sweep. Now, if we are going by these figures, and they've touched 50%, I'm sure the other pollsters would say that the BJP would require to max in Uttar Pradesh if it has to get its target of 370 that it wants.
Remember, those two elections are very different, Amitabh Tiwari, because the 84 election was held in the aftermath of the assassination of then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. It was an election won largely on the back of sympathy. Here is Prime Minister Modi, who's been in power for 10 times. This is not a empathy, sympathy vote. This is a performance vote. If you end up 72, or if Yashwant says could be even higher, that would be the most incredible performance imaginable.
Yeah, so if these numbers hold true, if you see whatever is BSP's loss of 10 seats is largely accruing into the tally of the BJP. BJP is gaining 10 seats at the expense of BSP. So if these numbers hold true, then what is clearly being shown is that it is largely a pro-incumbency vote. It is a pro-Modi vote, it's a pro-development vote, it's a pro-vote for his policies and the way he has handled the economy.
But are you surprised because Rahul Verma, Uttar Pradesh was for a long time, for about 30 years, completely fragmented. Now suddenly, since 2014, the BJP has come to dominate the state, 2 general elections, 2 assembly elections, and now you could have a 3rd general election. Is the BJP therefore entering into UP, much like it was in Gujarat, a completely dominant party, 50% more, 50% vote and more, suggests a dominant state?
Absolutely, Rajdeep. One reason for fragmentation in the 90s and early 2000s was that there were at least 4 credible players that were present. BJP, Congress, SP and BSP, the regional parties were very, very strong. Over a period of time, Congress declined and also BSP declined. So why Yashwant is saying that the numbers are conservative? Because this time BSP is moving out and they are still holding on to 10% or some vote share there, which means that actually the numbers could be much more than 75, even touching 70.
No, but here's the thing. It reflects the continuing trend of elections becoming bipolar. Remember, the BSP, according to Yashwant's analysis, is projected to come down from 19% vote share last time to 8% this time. That's 11% down. And this is a party which in 2007 had won 200 plus seats. So that just shows how the BSP has ceded ground to now become a rump. 8% Sanjay Kumar for the once mighty BSP just shows that for time to come, elections in UP will be BJP on the one side and Samajwadi Party on the other, with a much weaker Samajwadi Party against a much stronger BJP.
Rahul, we need to understand why elections are becoming bipolar not only in UP but in Bihar and many other states. Because I get a sense that the entire election now is being contested in the name of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. I don't see this election as a contest between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi or Narendra Modi versus any other leader. It is a referendum on how do you rate the performance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So people are divided on 2 axes, pro-Modi, anti-Modi. And you see the election becoming bipolar on this, not on the issues, but largely on this factor. If you are on pro-Modi side, you tend to align, your party tend to align with NDA. And if you are anti-Modi, you tend to align with the UPA. Or if you're not able to align with the UPA, then you go alone. But that is what is happening in UP.
But where does this lead, therefore, the India alliance, Rashid Kidwai? Because you've got a situation where you are tying up with the Congress and Samajwadi Party tying up. We still don't know how the seat distribution will take place. But when they look at these numbers, there'll be a sense of hopelessness almost, particularly if Jayant Chaudhary also leaves the alliance. Even if Mayawati, was to come on their side, which seems unlikely in a few weeks' time, either way, India Alliance is starting this race with one hand tied behind its back.
Yes, Rajdeep, there is a total sense of despondency, but I still think Mayawati is the biggest insurance policy that BJP has in Uttar Pradesh. Imagine this 8-10% vote going to India Alliance would have made material difference. And second thing is how many Gandhis, 3 Gandhis, Rahul, Sonia and Priyanka, how many of them are going to be in fray? Because unless they contest, and same applies to Samajwadi Party, Akhilesh Yadav and Dimple Yadav and all those people, credible people.
Now, what's your sense? Will any of the Gandhis contest now?
I think they are looking for Rajya Sabha route. At least one of them will get into Rajya Sabha.
No, but I don't agree with Rashid Kidwai. He says BSP joining the India Alliance makes a difference. Even if I add 36 and 8, that's 44. Up against 51 for 52 for the NDA, it still leaves them 6 short.
No, but
so even if there is perfect transfer of votes, even if there is perfect transfer of votes, which we saw in the last elections when they were both stronger in the BJP, not as strong, it still didn't make a difference.
Look, Rahul, BJP is the dominant party of UP. There's no doubt about that. and all the other parties are basically trying to compete for that same anti-BJP vote that exists. So even if they come together, they're actually only consolidating the anti-BJP vote. The BJP vote itself, once it's crossing 50%, even if it was 48% tomorrow, they would still be well over 60 as they were in 2019. So I think...
And Rahul, we are not factoring in the Ram Lahar, which is there. There is a lot of... Why people are shifting? Because they think that there is going to be a huge, consolidation in favor of BJP in Uttar Pradesh. And
now,
that explains
Salman, so this was a cricket match and the BJP ends up 72 out of 80 in the first state. And the projection across our table of really sharp political minds is that it could actually even be more. Then, the Congress and the India alliance are out of the race even before the race has begun. Shehzad can say, okay, thank you very much. I don't need to do the talking. Modi's doing the talking for me.
Rahul, no game is over till it is totally over. So I know this is a very disappointing save for the India alliance. But I must say that despite all the advantages that the Prime Minister and Amit Shah and BJP have built up over these 10 years or so, they're still pretty much at 50%. The opposition has not been able to come together as we need to defeat this power so far. But the election is not over. The election is going to be contested in UP and all over the place. And by the way, I know you people said something about the performance. This is a performance election. If this is a performance election, I want to ask you. I want to ask the people of UP, for example, that until 2014, UP's economy was larger than Tamil Nadu's economy. Now, 10 years later, and most of that is under, all of it is under Prime Minister Modi, and most of it is under Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. Why is the UP economy now smaller than the Tamil Nadu economy? What has changed? Now, at the national level,
we are doing a T20 style analysis, so we want 1 point at a time. You made your point. Let Shehzad Poonawala now respond. Shehzad, the fact is that UP is seen now as a dominant party state. Do you give credit to the Modi factor, the Upyogi factor, a combination of both? The fact that the double engine there seems to be really working at the moment.
Rajdeep, I give credit to 3 factors and let me complete my answer. 1 is Ram Lala, 2 is Geeta and 3 is PD, and let me complete. Ram Lala means Rashtriya Suraksha, Mahila, Labharti, Leadership and Arthavavastha. Geeta means growth, information, innovation, infrastructure, technology and Atmanirbhar Bharat. And PDA means performance, delivery and aspiration. Today, Rajdeep, Modi ji and Yogi ji have converted the vocabulary of people like you from anti-incumbency to pro-incumbency, where even the most critical cynics like Yogendra Yadav and Rajdeep Sardesai in the Democratic newsroom also have to say that BJP ko सबसे ज्यादा नंबर मिलेंगे ही. This kind of conversion happens when time after time the people see the leadership and the performance of the party on the ground and overall, because we have a mission and a vision. We are not people of commission, corruption, ambition and family profession, and therefore I give credit to Ram Lala, Geeta and PDA.
I love his acronyms. He's going to go very far in politics, given those acronyms. Mr. Modi has clearly got a few bucks in the party who know how to use acronyms rather well.
What I want to do now is play out a small excerpt from a show we had earlier today from Lucknow, where we spoke to voices on the ground, trying to get a sense of the pulse in Uttar Pradesh. So here are some excerpts from the Mood of the Nation poll from Uttar Pradesh from earlier today.
Joining you from the city of Lucknow, and once again, if political cliches could hold true, nothing.
विपक्ष की जल गई है एकता की रस्सी, इसलिए भाजपा यूपी में जीतेगी 80 में 80।
मुझे लगता है यहाँ पर बैठ के लच्छेदार बातें करना और थोड़ी बहुत शेरो शायरी कर लेना एक चीज है। आप धरातल पर आके असलियत देख लीजिए।
हम पूरे विश्वास के साथ कह रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस पार्टी का उत्तर प्रदेश में खाता नहीं खुलने देंगे।
युवा चाहता है रोजगार, और रोजगार के नाम पर आप कहते हैं पकौड़े तल लो।
केवल भारतीय जनता पार्टी है जो बढ़ती हुई दिखाई दे रही है, बाकी सारे राजनीतिक दल आपको गिरते हुए दिखाई दे रहे हैं।
आप सबके अकाउंट में 15 लाख आ गए, 2 करोड़ बेरोजगार मिल गया, नहीं मिला।
और जब अलायंस करना था ना, तब राहुल जी के प्रोजेक्शन के लिए उनकी एक यात्रा प्लान कर दी गई और जहां-जहां चरण पड़े राहुल के ताता बंटाधार हुआ। जैसे-जैसे यात्रा प्रारंभ हुई, एक-एक करके अलायंस लगातार छूटते जा रहे हैं।
Shouldn't the India Alliance actually look at bringing in Mayawati, because the 8% vote share could also, she might not win a single seat.
As far as Behan Mayawati is concerned, I think it's really up to her what she would want to do.
370 हम कह रहे हैं क्योंकि 370 हमने हटाई है।
I want to come now to the state of Punjab, and just keep in mind that the numbers that you're about to see assume that the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress will find a way of fighting together. But this is a state where AAP and Congress are 1 and 2, and whenever two parties are 1 and 2, they typically find it very difficult to be able to distribute seats amongst themselves. Between 2 and 3, it's much easier than it is between parties that are 1 and 2. But since that's the way it is seeming on the surface, that's the calculation that we're about to show you. So here are the numbers for Punjab. I'm going to start by taking a look at the vote share numbers first. The BJP had 10% vote share in the previous Lok Sabha elections. That's now projected to go up to 17. That's 7% up. The Aam Aadmi Party had 7% vote share in the last Lok Sabha elections. That's now projected to go up to 27. That's 20% up from the last time. The Congress had 40% vote share in the last elections. That's now projected to come down to 38. That's 2% down from the last time. The Akalis had 28% vote share. That's now projected to come down to 14, a loss of 14% for the once formidable Akalis. Let's take a look at how this converts into seats. So on your screen right now, for the 13 seats of Punjab, here are the C Voter India Today Mood the Nation projections. C Voters projecting that the BJP is likely to stay at 2 seats. They're likely to stay at 2. What's gone out from the NDA kitty there are the Akali seats. The AAP is expected to be at 5 seats. That's up 4 from the last time if we see the party-wise breakup of these seats. The Akalis were at 2. That's likely to come down to 1. So the BJP holds on to its 2 seats. The AAP goes up from 1 to 5. Remember, in the first election they fought in 2014, they had 4 seats. So they go up to 5 this time. The Congress at 5. They were 8 last time, so they're down 3. And the Akalis are at 1, down 2. Now what could change potentially, Yashwant, is if at the last moment the Akalis and the BJP are able to tie, because behind the scenes there's a lot happening. It's not firm, finalized, both sides haven't decided. The Akalis we know are keen, the BJP is 50-50, wishy-washy, but that can change anytime. And if that changes, how does that potentially change these numbers?
Of course, I mean that would be having some impact for sure, because I guess that between the Akalis and the BJP, even though there has been quite a lot of bad in the recent years, as far as the core voting is concerned, they are pretty much supplementary in nature. The core has been anti-Congress vote at large, which the Akalis and the BJPs have been tending together. So this separation might have split it vertically, because BJP ran away with the Hindu votes and Akalis were with their Panthik votes. But if they come together, definitely that will have an impact. But it will not be the same kind of seat sharing, Rajdeep, that is for sure, because wherever BJP is going back with their old allies, the seat sharing equation is no more the same, which was defined by Vajpayee and Advani.
But you know, this is a fascinating state, Raj Chengappa, because the alliances have changed dramatically in the last few years. The BJP and the Akalis were together. AAP versus Congress was the battle of Punjab. They've now come together. They may not have chemistry on the ground. Do you really believe that this AAP-Congress alliance will work in the end and actually see the arithmetic benefits that this poll is suggesting? Or do you believe in the end it'll be very difficult for AAP and Congress to actually fight Punjab together, which may be another twist to these numbers?
It's my favorite state since I was there as editor-in-chief of the Tribune. But I think here, let's take Sanjay's argument of brand Modi and a referendum of that. How much of that is going to play out in Punjab? It never happened when Rajiv Gandhi, it was a very troubled state, of course, at that particular time. So the Congress never benefited at that time because of the wave that happened. So if you look at it currently, if the AAP and the Congress get together, they're a decisive force. Have they got together? Have they agreed on anything? That is not to be seen as yet.
No, but can I counter what you're saying to say that it's almost impossible? How will you decide if you're 1 and 2 in that state? On a drawing board, you can say whatever you want. Given the problems in Uttar Pradesh, given the problems in Bihar, it is very difficult. In Delhi, they may still have some kind of an arrangement. In Punjab, they'll ultimately come to the conclusion that it's better for us to fight separately.
No, they may well do that, Rahul. They actually seem to believe that that might even work to their favor. That, you know, you have a multi-corner.
No, so I'm saying then the premise of the poll for Punjab is flawed because it hypothetically assumes that they're fighting together.
Yeah, sure. But the one thing about Punjab, to take from what Raj Chengappa said, and that's the fascinating part of Punjab, Sanjay Kumar, it's the one state in North India where the Modi wave has not worked both in 2014 and 19. Look at both these elections. The Congress, if there's one state in northern India, held its own in the last 10 years, it's Punjab. You think the politics of Punjab, therefore, is very distinct and different from the rest of the country in a way?
Two factors. Even though the political clout of Shiromani Akali Dal has come down, but look at the states where regional parties are strong. BJP has not found it easy to make inroads. That's one case why in Punjab BJP has not been able to make inroads. Second, BJP has been contesting in Punjab in alliance with Akalis, so Akalis have been a dominant player. That was a difficulty in the Bihar also for the first couple of decades. Also, look at the social composition of Punjab. In Punjab, we have a very large majority of Sikh voters. So, if you look at BJP's popularity, Narendra Modi's popularity, there is some difference if you look at among the Hindus and people belonging to different other religions. That is another factor why BJP has not been able to penetrate in Punjab the way they have been able to expand in other parts of the
India. But the calculation in the BJP and Shehzad can build on this. I'll also show you the projection for Chandigarh, which is expected to go to the BJP. It's an urban pocket, and we saw the mess in the mayoral elections recently, but the poll is predicting that Chandigarh goes to the BJP. The problem is, both the Home Minister and the Prime Minister have often say that they're very emotionally invested in the Punjab story. And yet, on the ground, we see, especially amongst the Sikhs, this pushback. So how does this square? The fact that the Prime Minister himself feels so emotionally close to the Punjabi community, to the Sikh religion, and yet there is a lot of antipathy and a very strong pushback.
Rahul, look, what Sanjayji was saying just now, that since we were the younger brother in the alliance, and that alliance was not purely for political reasons, it was also for ensuring the message of Sabka Saath and Samajik Sohar between the Hindu-Sikh community. And therefore, we sacrificed a lot of our space and a lot of the other things also while we were in that alliance. For the first time now, we are finding our feet in Punjab, not just in urban areas, but also in the rural pockets. And therefore, this vote is a vote of expansion. It is a vote of credibility that will keep increasing over the few period of years. And look at the outreach that Prime Minister Modi has done towards the Sikh community. It is not a political outreach, it is an emotional outreach, whether it is celebrating the Prakash Parbs of the great gurus of the Sikh community, whether it is celebrating Veer Balas Divas, or whether it is reaching out to various sections, whether it is the FCRA clearance on Harminder Sahib, langars that we are making GST free. So I think there is a concerted effort. Not everything is done only for political purpose. Some things are beyond politics. For Rashtra Niti, we have done a lot of things, and I think that is also being reflected because Punjabis are very patriotic people. They are ready to sacrifice their lives for the nation. They have contributed so much to the armed forces, and I think you'll see, because the kind of mismanagement Aam Aadmi Party is doing. Look at the Nasha Mafia, look at the kind of corruption that is taking place. I'm not saying this. Mr. Sidhu is saying about the corruption. And also the alliance between Congress and
here in Punjab, Amitabh Tiwari, is if they fight separately, this calculation, and you're seeing the India numbers projected by C voter to zoom up in terms of vote share very substantially, all that is based on the assumption that they fight together. If they don't fight together, and if this is the base where Akalis are at 27% vote share, up 20 from the last time, Congress is at 38% vote share, down 2 from the last time, up at 27, up 20, Congress at 38, down 2, Akalis at 14, down 14. How could Punjab read in the absence of this alliance?
See, Punjab is the hotbed of anti-center politics. So even if AAP and Congress do not form an alliance, and unless the Akali Dal forms an alliance with the BJP, these numbers could still hold. So unless the Akali Dal ties up with the BJP, I don't see a substantial difference in the numbers, because the politics itself there is anti-center. Hindu being the majority in the rest of the country, but being a minority there complicates the political dynamics there.
And you know, it's interesting to look at this, because if we turn to the next state, because I think these two states reflect just how India's map is so complex. Just turn to Delhi, not too far away from Punjab, where again the Congress and the AAP are trying to tie up. Just look at how the numbers stack up in Delhi. 7 seats on offer, but the national capital is often a barometer of what tends to happen across North India. Take a look at vote share. As per this, in Delhi, even with the Congress-AAP alliance, you have 57% vote share going to the BJP. And 40% to the India alliance of the Congress and AAP together, others 3. How does this then translate into seats? 7 seats in Punjab, in Delhi, all 7 went last time, remember, to the BJP. All 7 will go back to the BJP as per this poll. So that takes off from what Amitabh Tiwari just said. Punjab is almost sui generis, Rahul Verma. There, if the Congress and AAP tie up, they do very well. They tie up in Delhi, where the AAP is in power again, and yet it's a clean sweep for the BJP. Does this reflect urban mindsets and Delhi mindsets versus the anti-center mindset, as Amitabh put it about Punjab?
Yes, a little bit, Rajdeep. That Punjab, the demographic composition is different. It has always had an uneasy relationship with the center, even when Congress party was in power in 1970s and 80s. But you have to also understand that this alliance in both Delhi and Punjab is not easy. Because in Punjab, Aam Aadmi Party feels that they can gain these seats even without the Congress. So you've seen Chief Minister of Punjab making statements that we don't need to have an alliance. And in Delhi, even if they come together, they will not be able to make any dent.
No, but why not? Why,
the reason is that Congress
explain why the Aam Aadmi Party in 2 consecutive elections has swept Delhi, but the BJP has swept Delhi in Lok Sabha.
So BJP continues to hold 40% vote share in Delhi, no matter which election is happening. Congress gets 25% when Lok Sabha happens, but when Vidhan Sabha happens or MCD happens, Congress comes down below 10%. So that entire Congress vote, which is in Lok Sabha with them, actually shifts with the BJP. So AAP continues to be around 45 to 50% in assembly elections. But in Vidhan Sabha, BJP gains.
No, but my view is it's the Modi factor. You know, what seems to be is that the Lok Sabha elections, you look at Narendra Modi. When you're fighting a state election, you look at Arvind Kejriwal. That's happened 2 elections in a row. And it seems, as per your numbers, it's going to happen again.
It's a split vote, Rajdeep, and it's happening across India, across all the states, honestly speaking. Each and every state, if you look into the vote share of the last assembly and the last Lok Sabha in together, you will see somewhere between 10 to 25% of jump in favor of the BJP whenever the Lok Sabha elections are there. However, in case of Punjab, I must mention this because it's an important and critical point to add. In the last 10 years, in our daily tracker, there are only 3 states where Rahul Gandhi as an individual leader has scored over in popularity over Narendra Modi. 3 states all across India. One is Punjab, one is Tamil Nadu, and one is Kerala. And they have been like that. But one critical thing is, 10 years back, the gap between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi was so huge in all these 3 states that it was a one-way traffic of sort. But over the 10 years, this gap is reducing and reducing and reducing, and it used to be in double digits. Right now, it is in single digits.
But you know, the split vote, I think, Rahul, is going to become more and more important. Voters seeing Lok Sabha very different to Vidhan Sabha. And Salman shows that's your big problem in a way. In Delhi itself, in the heart of the national capital, even if you tie up with AAP, it's the BJP that sweeps the election. That suggests to me that that voter is giving a huge bump to the BJP the moment it's a Lok Sabha election and Mr. Modi is on the ticket.
No, I look at it a little differently. What I'm seeing is, if this data is correct, and I have no way of knowing whether this is or this is not, we'll find out during the elections. But the Congress vote share is coming up in Delhi because people see, many people remember the governance that Congress has delivered to this country. And that is why I think you see the vote share coming up at the time when it comes to national level politics. Why that doesn't happen at the state level elections?
I don't know what you're saying, Salman Bhai. From 23, it's gone up to 25. That's up 2 up. From 18 is down to 15. That's down 3. BJP was at 57. It's at 57. So you're clutching at straws, really.
Rahul, I was talking about the comparison with assembly elections. Somebody said that, during assembly elections, the vote share goes down, and during parliamentary elections, it has come up. So clearly, people do remember that the UP at times are very good, and why should they not? I mean, the per capita
Still
income of this
32%. No, 1 minute, sir. You're still 32% behind the BJP. Rashid Kidwai, this is the problem the Congress is facing. When it comes to a Lok Sabha election, Mr. Modi is on the ticket. It appears that the Congress is not preferred to the BJP. We've seen that. Direct BJP-Congress fights, the Congress loses out. Now, even in an alliance with AAP, they may lose out in Delhi.
Yeah, but Rajdeep, Delhi's story is very simple. It is due to Muslim vote that swings. In assembly election, Muslim vote tends to favor Arvind Kejriwal's party, and in Lok Sabha election, it favors the Congress. So that is why there is a kind of mismatch. And when we talk about vote share, we must look at the each and every constituency profile, and that's where it matters. So even if some parties maybe 40% plus, another party 57%, in 7 Lok Sabha seats, the results may be slightly different. So vote share.
So you make an important point. In a seat like, say, Chandni Chowk or in East Delhi,
absolutely,
where the minorities are in big numbers, Rashid Kidwai's argument is, and that's where we can go across to Sanjay Kumar, that as far as the state is concerned, it may still be 57 versus 25 and 13, but in that concentrated pocket, it may help this alliance, if it comes together, put a tighter fight in 2 seats, at least East Delhi and Chandni Chowk.
This is a possibility, Rahul. I don't rule out this possibility. But if we are looking at on one side 57 and on the other side it is, say, in the 40s, 42, 45, 46, this is huge gap, makes it impossible that there are chances of close contest or a reversal in a couple of constituencies.
The real story is the BJP, which gets about 38 to 40% in Vidhan Sabha, goes up to 57 in Lok Sabha.
तो Vidhan Sabha की बात ही नहीं कर रहे.
No, that's the story. No, but that's the story. Modi,
that's the story for Vidhan Sabha election, not for a Lok Sabha election.
Sir, the point is the Modi factor, Rahul, is giving the BJP an 18 to 20% jump. That's the story. From 37-38%, where it loses to the Aam Aadmi Party, which gets over 50%. So the Aam Aadmi Party is clearly seen as a Delhi regional party, and the BJP in a Lok Sabha election takes it. Whatever the minority vote may get consolidated, but the majority vote in Delhi is going firmly towards the BJP for the Lok Sabha. 6 months later, have a Vidhan Sabha election, and the situation at least twice before has been very different.
True. This time around, we don't know.
So I think that's
Rahul,
the significance.
I wanted to make a quick point. Yes.
2 things. One, the minority factor will come into play only assembly elections, where the assembly constituencies are smaller, and then you have enough number which can swing vote. Even in Chandni Chowk, you don't have 50% Muslim population, which can suddenly turn the seat.
And besides, after delimitation in 2008, the entire composition of these seats have changed. Actually, in Delhi, there is not even a single Lok Sabha seat now which can say that, okay, minority votes are the decisive vote here. Yeah. Earlier, the Chandni Chowk, before till 2009 elections probably, that was the probability, but after 2008, delimitation.
No, but in Delhi, if AAP and Congress are on the same ticket, it does make things more exciting.
It does. It does certainly, absolutely. It makes
it. Could still be 7.
But having said that, it's also the fact, Rajdeep, Sheila Dikshit ji was very clear, very clear that if Congress has to revive, they have to make sure they do not go with Aam Aadmi Party. That's how.
Is also clear.
She has been very clear.
No, I really think, Rahul, the story which we must stress is this Modi factor. Because this kind of split verdict.
But you're sounding surprised about it.
No, because it's nowhere else in the world. You see, go across the world. A Republican state will vote for the Republicans, both for the Senate usually and for the presidential election. In India, you're seeing it now in 2 consecutive elections. For Delhi, we want Arvind Kejriwal, but upar hamare liye Narendra Modi. And you're going to see it across the country.
Because America doesn't have a Modi, that's why.
I don't think it's as simplified as that. I think the Indian voter has very consciously decided who I want for Chief Minister and who I want for Prime Minister. And I think it is fascinating because I don't think, as I said, I don't know any other country in the world where it happens.
No, we make too much out of this, and this is my personal opinion. There is only 15 to 20% of vote which swings here and there.
That's a lot.
No, but in only couple of states, except Odisha, except Delhi, do you see a split verdict of this kind?
Yes, Karnataka. You see Karnataka in election after election, you vote for one party in the Vidhan Sabha, you vote for another party in Lok Sabha. I'm willing to have a small wager that there'll be another half a dozen states where this will happen.
Can you bet like now, after Congress winning Karnataka in 2023, Congress is going to do same way as it done in 2019?
But I met a Maharashtra leader yesterday. He said we have put all our